morning, and thank you very much for attending, and thanks for the kind introduction. So we are very happy here to introduce and talk about the Asian consumer shift from, actually, we're going to talk about China, India, and South Asia. I wait for my colleague so that we introduce ourselves. Ready to go? Because I need to move. If I can't stay here. It's a very hard time for me. So we are actually Asia Cosmelab. We are a trend agency. I'll just give you a few words about who we are before we start. We are Asia Cosmelab, a trend agency which is based in France, which is very particular because it's a company I created almost 25 years ago, which is only dedicated to Asian cosmetics. So which means, of course, 25 years ago, we didn't talk about China, we didn't talk about Korea, sorry for India and South Asia, it was not the world of cosmetics, it was only Japan. So my background is very Japanese, and I work for Kao Corporation, and I speak Japanese, and I was a market analyzer at that time, and there was a need to understand better the consumer, to understand the product, in order to understand the competitive landscape, and also provide product information. So this company now has expanded. We are 12 members based in France, all beauty experts, native from the region, and we track on a daily basis every product coming up through desk research, but also on site, by consumers interview, also understanding how the market is evolving, what are the latest trends. And by this very particular qualitative work, we are able to deliver many types of reports with the product, illustrated always with product coming from skincare, makeup, hair care, supplement, fragrance, oral care, and the next word, pet beauty. So it's a very important. So it's a very. I encourage you to scan the QR code. You will get more information about the company. You will get a free subscription to our monthly newsletter, where you can get a lot of free information on the market. But let's move on the real presentation you're waiting for. So today, we will split the presentation in 3 parts. We will have a little introduction with some trends and figures before we move to the consumer needs and beauty direction, and finally some conclusion and what's next. So yes, the presentation will be driven by how the consumers have shifted, what are the moves regarding consumer, and what are the market and brand answers to those needs. I'm going to move. I think it's going to be better. So let's start with a few figures.
Yes, so we wanted to introduce you, although it's not our specialty to talk about figures, but we still want to start with some figures, and then we'll talk about consumers and products and brand. So first, what we see is that consumer from China, from India, from Southeast Asia are really tech and science driven, especially when it comes to skincare. And we know that now India ranks second globally for the highest public trust in science. So that's quite interesting. And in China, we have also seen the rise of tech-driven skincare with a lot of bioactive and synthetic bioingredients that are really gaining a lot of popularity and that are backed by scientific claims of cellular level skincare benefits. We also see a big love for ingredients. In Southeast Asia in 2024, the hashtag on niacinamide videos on TikTok have gained more than 4.7 billion hashtags, and salicylic acid was also very successful hashtag ingredients. We also see the importance of the procedure rise, and we have seen a lot happening on this, especially in Indonesia. That is the medical aesthetic market is to rise that more than 11% CAGR through 2019. In China, we have seen that, of course, women are already a lot into procedure, but now male users are also a lot into procedures, with 20% of male users accounting for a medical aesthetic audience, really showing a surge in the interest from male. And it's also the case in Thailand, we have seen it a lot. And another important fact is the K-beauty popularity. We see that among consumers worldwide, there has been a study that showed that the perceived popularity of K-beauty is the biggest in South Asia. So Vietnam ranks first, then Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and then India ranks 6 and China ranks 7, meaning that really all these consumers have really perceived the importance of K-beauty, and it has really shaped the trends and how what consumer wants in beauty, although local interest and local brands are also really strong.
Which explain also the popularity of Santé Asiatica, for example, which was fully promoted by the K-beauty.
Sure.
So if we talk about now digging into the topic, let's talk about the Chinese consumers. I would say we have 3 very important moves to keep in mind regarding this consumer. First of all, due to the international, I would say, worldwide crisis that we have faced with the COVID, also because of these economical crises the markets globally are facing, we have a huge boom of local brand consumption. It started with the Sea Pride, really, with from the COVID time, but now it's really that Chinese consumers are totally trusting the very, I would say, very well-known and also the very high popularity cosmetic brands, which are perceived as qualitative and affordable, and which are totally competing now with big international brands. If you look at the dermacare codes, the packaging codes, the image of the product, the dermocosmetic now is really moving very closely to the luxurious international brand, but they have affordability, they have amazing textures and science of ingredients. The second shift to keep in mind is the rise of this individual beauty in China. Of course, there is a very big quest, like in Korea, to have a beautiful features to success in life. But now we start talking about authentic skin finish. So it doesn't fully mean that you will accept all your imperfection, but it means also that you just do not need to copy the next one perfect beauty. So we see that consumers value realness and individuality, do not want anymore the heavy foundation coverage, and we will see that later there is a comeback or a strong move towards hybrids. Hybrids are not new, but you will see what's happening on hybrids in China. And finally, also very important, you know that I would say 90% of the business in China is done online. But now we have a big move also for offline experience. And it's not talking about pop-up stores, it's really brand stores that are showing their power, local brands of course, showing their power, showing their technology, showing their science with a lot of type of experience and also engagement for the customer to try the product. So it's not a place where you would shop, they will still shop online. But it's really those flagship places where you can really be connected with the brands. And there is very much strong demand for that trend. And you can see, for example, in Shanghai, but not only, that there is now amazing retailing stores that are started.
Let me cross and go across you.
I think I should accelerate because
yes.
You have a lot of slides.
So regarding the India main shift, what we have seen, if you are into beauty at the moment, you know that India is having a very big moment. a lot of consumers, but also a lot of international brands are eyeing India. For instance, Fenty Beauty has entered India this summer, and there is kind of a competition, let's say, between this rush of international brands towards Indian market, but also very, very competitive local Indian brands that are of great quality and that really strive on authenticity and efficacy. And there is, of course, a challenge of price positioning, because the prices of products are quite low in India, but also of quality of product and, of course, distribution. In India, there is really a youth diverse expression, and we see that the youth is really shaping a new vision of beauty that is way more inclusive than before, that the homegrown, but also the brands that are made by the diaspora from India, in the UK, in the US, are really spreading these new aesthetics and these new beauty ideals coming from India. And of course, when you think about India, don't think of it as just one country, but more as a continent. You have very different regions in India, different types of beauty, different types of hair, of weather, of religion, and that you have to take into account into the expression of beauty in India. And last but not least, of course, there is a digital acceleration. So even when you go to the stores now, there is a lot of digital enhancement of the experience. But the most important at the moment in India is the rise of Q-commerce, quick commerce. It's a lot of new apps that allows you to have everything 10 minutes to your doorstep. It really changes a lot for the beauty players, because you have to be available very quick if you want to be close to your consumers. And in terms of social media, for now, Instagram is really the big social media, as TikTok is yet not available in India. And so that means that when we talk about now beauty, it's all about TikTok, but in India, it's still about Instagram and YouTube. Regarding Southeast Asia men shift, we see a very big influence of K-beauty, of course, but also of Japanese beauty and of Chinese beauty brands. Someone yesterday mentioned how the Chinese brands are so strong now in Southeast Asia, and it's true, but local and people in Thailand, in Indonesia, now also really put a high value on local brands. So it's not just North Asia beauty, it's also the local pride, the local brand. And there is, of course, the question of price. A lot of consumers, especially in Indonesia or Vietnam, are still really looking at the price, at the discounts. But, for instance, what we see in Thailand is that the price positioning is a bit higher compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. Regarding the beauty ideals, we see there is a focus on skin health, on skin barrier, on pollution, of course, on UV care. And there is, of course, this idea of having a very glowy, very fresh makeup finish that is quite difficult to have when you have a very hot country. So that's quite of a challenging beauty ideal. And of course, there is the diversity of Southeast Asia. It's a big region. You have a lot of skin tones, a lot of ethnicities, different religions, very different cultures. You have to take that into account when you think about these countries. And about social media and online, of course, TikTok is really important. Indonesia is the first or second audience of TikTok in the whole world, competing with the US. Live streaming is super important. Influencers, of course, super important too. But you also have to keep in mind the importance of offline experience. For instance, in Bangkok, in the last 2 years, there have been 3 new luxurious malls that have opened, the One Bangkok, the Hemsphere, and the Central Park. And this really shows that you cannot go without an offline experience, without testing the product, and without having an image for your brand. So we are going to see now some consumer needs and how the brands are answering with products to this different consumer shift. So the optimized beauty, the ritualist care, adapting their lifestyles, and the creative and meaningful. Florence?
So optimized beauty is going to be separated in 2 parts. It's going to be really we are going to talk about this medical, really procedure-inspired product versus, of course, the sense of longevity that every brands are pushing. So optimized beauty, it's about really advanced and efficient. We talk about medical derma, procedure like home seizure, delivery method, precision. It's about also taking care of your dullness and your troubles, and it also reaches the body care. So in terms of China, now we have more and more mesotherapy-like type of tools that you can use at home with the same product that can be injectable within the tool. So here you can see this home-use vacuum-assisted non-invasive transdermal hydro-infusion device, very long, which really deliver results absolutely comparable to professional mesotherapy.
And when it comes to India, we have seen the first products that say that they have a Botox-like effect. It's the brand called Dr. Shesh, which is a it's a traditional but also like dermatologist-based brand, and it's one of the first brands to really say like they have a Botox-like kind of effect. In Indonesia, Wardah has put a lot of exosome and PDRN, so all these new ingredients, in a serum that is supposed to have the same result as IFU treatment. So we are really seeing a sophistication of the offer, even in India and Southeast Asia.
And of course, sense of longevity, which is really the ingredient science, the cellular, the exosome beauty, the mitochondrial health, which is so strong this year. We talk about DNA repair, we talk about senescence prevention, skin resilience, regenerative medicine. It's coming with the longevity, of course, in China, even though the consumer are quite young. So it's more about revitalizing the cells, re-energizing the cells, than fully fighting against senescent cells, which we see more in Japan. And for example, Dr. Alva has launched this a few months ago, this triple chamber product, which is an anti-aging product with an ingredient which mimic the queen, royal jelly, but in a synthetic way, which is known as the longevity code ingredient.
And in India, there is this new indie brand, super interesting, called Nude Skin, and they have developed one of their first anti-aging cream, supposed to have also Botox-like effect. But what they say is that it makes your skin look 5 years younger in just a few days. So I don't know if that really works, but that's quite a promising, and it's really about like regenerating your skin quite fast. From Thailand, we really love this example from Rad, which is a makeup brand. They launched the first lip gloss with exosome infusion to nourish the lips at the cellular level. And we have seen Thailand is one of the most advanced country when it comes to infuse PDRN or exosome in makeup. So the second direction trend is ritualist care. We are going to talk about the elevated heritage and about how the body and mind connection, all the wellness is happening. So ritualist care, it's about elevating heritage. In China, in India and Southeast Asia, you have traditional medicine, you have a long history of beauty. So how do the brand revamp this heritage, make science meets nature, bioharmony, repurposing the beauty, smart nature tech, and of course use fermentation too.
So regarding China, we have this recent launching from Proya, which is really interesting. Proya is a very well-known, very old brand from China, which is now elevating and moving towards much more premiumization, playing with the jade cod, which is a symbol of longevity, but also a symbol of beauty. So here we have this a new actually line, which I really engage you to take a look at too, which not only contain isoquercetin, but also promote a jade-like useful skin in 14 days. So really play with the Chinese beauty codes.
In India, from the Indian diaspora, this brand Indiewile, that is available in the US but also in the UK and in India, has launched a concept called Ayurvedistry, which is a mix between the chemistry and the Ayurveda. And they have launched a sunscreen that is inspired by Ayurvedic recipes with aloe vera, with coconut water. And they have a very interesting way of revamping the Indian heritage in a super modern way that really talks to the consumer both in India and to the Indian diaspora worldwide. In Thailand, I really love this brand called Terry. It's a very small indie brand, but they have a way of taking the local ingredients, such as the durian, and to work with different universities and with new technologies to use this ingredient in a moisturizer and in a very modern way, a modern identity, far from the old natural brands and in a way more modern way to talk to the younger consumers with an ingredient that is very specific to the region. The second part of the ritualist care, it's about body and mind, about, of course, hormonal beauty, what we call also psychodermatology. So it's about reducing your level of stress to feel better, mood care, mind and body connection, and of course, the fragrance and the aromatherapy.
So fragrance, in China is really becoming something very, very important and also becoming more and more sophisticated. Integrated fine fragrance now in hair care and in body care, like this example of Cosmic Speculation, which is a trendy fragrance brand expanding in this, how do you say, I don't remember the name, but body care and hair care.
When it comes to India, Cereco is a quite unique brand because they use the NeuroCalm technology in all of their skincare products to reduce stress and enhance the mood. So one of their latest products this year was the Hydra Protect Sun Mist with this technology that also allows you to really reduce your stress. One of the examples that I love from Thailand is by the brand Air It. They launched their first hair dryer, and one of the nozzles you can put on the hair dryer as citrus peel essential oil that you can have. So when you actually dry your hair, you have this very nice scent and very aromatherapy-like, spa-like experience, which is super unique and really makes your moment of drying your hair an amazing moment.
So adapting lifestyle is also something very important as we are now in a world where we have a lot of extreme climate issues. And on the other way, we want also to have a simple, better life. So at these extreme, I would say, extreme world towards the skin is exposed, really develop this idea of extremophile care, this adaptogen, this environmental potential activation specific to the UV, protection against the heat and the cool, the climate issue, and finally also improving the skin barrier, which is suffering, of course, from a lot of damages. So I love this new launching from Proteus, which is actually from China, a dual collagen serum essence, because actually it's an anti-aging a product that will act on uneven skin tone due to the exposure to extreme heat or the climate issue, but also to the energy-based treatments. So this is really unique because it's the first, I would say, treatment that will act really on the heat of your procedure that stimulate too much the skin and create redness. So it's a very interesting approach, and this is why we now believe that among the aggression of the skin, we can see that the procedure is really becoming as big as climate.
When it comes to India, there was this launch by iPhone, which is a brand launched in collaboration with a celebrity, with an actress from Bollywood. And it's an ice dunk cooling face mask. So there has been this very big trend of doing, putting your face in an ice bowl to refresh and depuff your face. It has been very, very popular in India because Alia Bhatt, another celebrity, said it's part of a routine, so everyone wanted to do it. And so this brand, they took this very viral moment and they say, okay, we can do better than putting your face in an ice bowl. We can do a mask that is going to cool your face by, I think, more than 5 degrees cooling of your face, and so you will have even a better cooling sensation and refreshing sensation than having to put your face in an ice bowl. Last example that I really love from Her Highness, it's from Thailand. It's a very high-end indie brand that you can find in Even Boy, in all of the stores here in Bangkok, and they just launched this spotless blush screen So it's a blusher, it's a sunscreen, and it has anti-pigmentation, anti-dark spots, and anti-pollution action. I think it's the kind of product that really resonates with consumer because you have makeup but has a lot of skincare ingredients. It's also protecting your skin from all the aggressions, so really adapted to the new lifestyles here.
So to make the link with what Eloise is saying, of course, to have a makeup that really clean your skin, take care of your skin is very important because people also want to simplify their beauty routine. They want to make things quite easy. They want to have eventually quiet luxury, but also doing shortcuts and also simplify their daily life. So we have these new launching in China, which are now named complexion enhancing. It's the comeback of the BB cream. Okay, BB cream is back because if you remember, BB cream was made to repair your scars after procedure, to even your skin, and it was a treatment and a makeup together. But BB cream is very old. It's an old concept. So how to renew it? How to reinvent BB cream? Now brands are naming in China, for example, complexion, refining, emulsion. So this is type of naming that you will see. And these products, which are emulsion, that perfect your skin in 5 seconds, that hydrate, balance, refine, and repair. I didn't give you all the list of ingredients that repair, but this is one of the new directions that the BB cream is taking on its way back to the market.
In India, there is this quite interesting brand called Baboski, and they launched the first, what they call in-bath SPF. So it's basically a body wash that is going to leave an SPF protection on your skin so that you don't have to apply sunscreen afterwards. The product has made quite a viral moment in India too, because it was really simplifying the routine and at the same time really adding your SPF to your routine. And then the last product is from Indonesia, from Wardah, the spray-on serum. So it's a halal certified dual phase spray serum. It's infused with biomimetic peptide, and it's at the same time prepping your skin, locking your makeup, and delivering a very smooth, radiant complexion. So I think it also synthesizes all the needs of a consumer in one product. The last direction is creative and meaningful. So what consumer wants now is to have fun textures, to have fun products. It's about the sensory experience, and it's also about these new brands that are going to arrive with a new vision to offer to the consumer. And I really love this. This brand is Lipit. It's also from Thailand. I think they are really breaking the codes of traditional Thai beauty to make it more fun, more exciting, and quite original. So the first direction is the sensory experience. We know that now sensories, texture are super important to have a filter eye makeup, to have play and fun, to have very buzzy product online, to add extra shine, to also have play on fragrance, to play with the mood. So there is the first product from China.
Is the water-burst mud. Mud is a lip category which is very popular and which was invented in China, which is a matte but very comfortable, very hydrating and translucent matte. And this mud has evolved now for several years, and now we have the new liquid matte mud, I would say. And definitively, if there is one product you should try from sensorial point of view, this is the new Pink Bear, because it has 78% watery essence. So when you apply it, you feel really wet, and when you look at it, you look matte. So it's really comfortable and easy to apply. I just love that product.
In India and in Southeast Asia in general, we have seen a lot of, in the world, we have seen a lot of pH changing coming back actually in makeup. And this is launched by Nykaa Cosmetic, one of the biggest beauty retailer and brand in India. And I think they really made a good play with the packaging, with the texture, with the transparency, with a kind of jelly texture, but also because your product is color changing. So when you apply it, you have this like fun experience. It's hydrating, it's glossy, and it has 3 different pastel colors with 3 different also scents. So really a Gen Z oriented kind of product that works really well. And then from Thailand, you have For You Too in collaboration with the retailer called Even Boy. They launched a matte blur primer, but it's actually really pink and really transparent kind of gel. So it's one of the first products that we really see being like pink transparent gel that is actually a primer. So again, to play on the experience of the consumer when you apply your makeup. And then we have the last part, which is experimental and new vision. This is about the new formats. It can be in fragrance, it can be makeup. It's about what is not expected by consumer and how you create surprise for consumers. It's about originality and individual expression. And it's about also the new territories such as pet care or oral care.
But just an example from China, which is this little Ondine, again, makeup launching with this art of objectic. They call it cosmetic creation. This is the holder for the eyeshadow palette. This is the holder for the lipstick. And the lipstick also has a very interesting swirl, magical swirl, and so on. So it's a quite unique type of product, but the set costs 100 euros.
When it comes to oral care, it's a category that's been considered sometimes a bit boring, but I think Salt from India makes a great job at making it feeling super luxurious. They have this supposedly 24-karat gold mouthwash, so it's supposed to have gold particles in the mouthwash. They made it in collaboration with an influencer. It also has hyaluronic acid to reduce the oral bacteria and the tooth sensitivity. So it's at the same time functional, but also very luxurious and really playing on new codes of oral care. And one of my favorite brands at the moment from Thailand is La Glace. It's everywhere in every drugstore you can go and see. They launched this Trailblazer Brow Mascara in a lot of shades, from purple to red to white to blue. And I think their Instagram communication with a lot of inclusivity with men, women, with everyone, every kind of beauty, and very daring, is also changing from the very soft and cute K-beauty, J-beauty ID, and it's a very individual expression of Thai beauty that I find refreshing and interesting. So they have 10 shades, and it's really, they have also like shades that you can use on an everyday basis, but also when you want a very unique look, you can have one.
So a few slides before we end about what you are asking. How is the consumer moving towards sustainability? Well, what are the brands offering towards sustainability? So first of all, China, they have the art of refill. Really, Chinese brands are showing up the refill in the front page. So maybe you will not call it refill, it's more like a reloading system of the product, but it's not hidden, it's really promoted because consumers are interested in refill, they want the refill. It doesn't mean the customer is loyal, okay? This is something we can discuss afterwards. The second thing from sustainability is maybe not at first sight understood like sustainability, but the monodose. The monodose is really something which is very important. And why is it sustainable? Because first of all, it's affordable. Okay, so everybody can buy monodose. And we can see that in some countries where there is economical crisis like Korea, now the market is shifting towards monodose because you can buy 1, 2, 3 doses and not buy the whole product in case you don't like it. Why monodose is sustainable? Specifically for UV care. You know that once you have opened your jar, you cannot keep it longer than 3 to 6 months. So most of the people, we have to throw our UV cream by few months. So, and it's never ended most of the time. By using monodose, then you will use exactly the dosage you need for one time, and you can keep the whole set for a long time. You can even keep it until next year. It won't get rotten, and you don't have to throw it away. Mistine is a Thai brand, very successful in China. And they have just launched this year this light nourishing sunscreen in this format, which created very much a big buzz online.
When it comes to sustainability in South Asia, it's interesting to see that most people say they would be interested in sustainability, but as Florence was mentioning, first it has to be affordable for people to be able to try it, because of course you want to have a better way to to care the planet, but you have to be able to do that. And there are some brands, especially in India, that focus on being organic or vegan or more sustainable, such as Rubis Organic. Rubis Organic is one organic brand that is really organic because they have EcoCert and Cosmos certification. In general, in South Asia, you can have a lot of brands that say, oh, we are organic, we are clean, we're natural, but they don't always have certification. This brand has certification, and they're a makeup brand, actually, and they really focus on having a lot of also skincare ingredients. They also want to have a more ethical approach to beauty. They also favor women entrepreneurs and women members in the team. So they have a full-on approach of sustainability. Another approach that is quite rare, but I have seen it in Indonesia with Studio Tropic. They launched a cushion with upcycled lavender ingredients. So they use the lavender ingredients also to protect the skin against pollution, but they also have a specific post on their Instagram explaining why they're using upcycled ingredients to really care about the planet. And it's one of the first brands that I see having such an open, sustainable way of doing things. Hoping to see maybe more brands going into that direction. So the last slide would be about, we talked a lot about skincare, makeup. What are the other expanding beauty fields in Asia, in China, South Asia, and India, and even worldwide, that we didn't have a lot of time to discuss today, but are growing categories to still take a look at?
They are showing a lot of, they are really answering the consumer shift nowadays. So the devices, the home devices that are turning smaller, mini, in order to be more convenient and also being more attractive for the consumer, and eventually being less expensive. So this is one shift, the affordability and the synergy with skincare, because they will promote the skincare. The other one, of course, is the huge market and the huge demand for hair and scalp care due to these hair loss concern and so on. So many things happening, from microbiome rebalancing to spicules in a hair booster. So it's really a very big category to look at, that all the consumers from all the market we've been talking about are interested in.
Florence mentioned how fragrance was super important in China at the moment, but we are also seeing a huge boom of fragrance in South Asia, especially at the moment in Indonesia, where there are a lot of local brands starting to be in the fragrance field. Thailand is also moving forward with fragrance. We're seeing Vietnam starting to be quite into fragrance too. These are markets you really need to consider when you think about fragrance. North Asia, of course, but also South Asia. India is also having some very interesting local brands that are pushing. So it's a market not just for young people, it's a market for men and for women. There is a lot of diversity of expressions, a lot of trends happening, and even sometimes coming from there. I was in Jakarta 3 weeks ago, and there are a lot of fragrance events. Everyone is going there. For them, fragrance at the moment is the new skincare. So really, it's something to keep in mind, even fragrance in body care, fragrance in hair care, and how when you think now about brands, it has to be in your mind from this.
And fragrance is going to be more and more functional. You even have some ingredients in the ingredients area where you see fragrance components which has a blue light protection effect. First time I see that. So,
because also, of course, fragrance is also linked to aromatherapy, about wellness and about mood. And the last topic, the last area, the next beauty field, and I let Florence talk about it because it's her favorite topic ever in beauty, is the pet cosmetic.
Because you know, this generation that we have been talking about, they have less and less kids, and they have more and more pets. So I'm not going to talk about the figures, but the pets are the new, we have Andy. Pets are the new babies, so, and pets also have longevity issues. You need to take care of your pet in the way they're going to age longer and healthy. So it's about taking care of their hair, taking care of their skin, and also taking care of the longevity of these animals in many ways. So which show and highlight many very unique, interesting products Also because the way to live with the pet is very unique in Asia, where pets are staying indoor and not that much moving outdoors, so they need to also stay clean, don't smell, and so on. So a very interesting market to look at. Voila, we have reached on time the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you have some questions.
Here you have the QR code. You can scan it. It will bring you to our website page. You just have to enter your information and you will have the presentation. The presentation is also available on the QR code from the In Cosmetic Asia website. So both ways you can have the presentation in the end. If not, you can also write to us, but you will have it. And I really invite you to follow our newsletter, our free newsletter, because every month we talk about the new topics, the new reports, the new product ingredient that we have seen on the Asian markets, and it really gives you some insight on what's happening in all these markets we just covered today. Thank you very much.